Welcome back to Gav Talks Tech. I am here with our head of infrastructure of Bytespeed, Robert Ogan. This is our first virtual interview that we're doing. Obviously, with COVID, there's a lot less face-to-face, both internally at our headquarters in Moorhead, Minnesota, and with our customers, our engineers, our business partners. A lot of this is going on remotely. But we've got some good information today. I'm excited to brag about Robert and talk specifically about why Ruckus is one of our biggest infrastructure partners. So we'll dive right in right now. As I mentioned, Robert Ogan, head of infrastructure. Robert, can you give us a little bit background on how you heard about Bytespeed and how you got started working with us?
Yeah, so years ago, I was a IT director. I started out as a computer technician in the district that I worked in, worked my way up through being a network admin, and then eventually the technology coordinator for the district that I was in. So I wore a lot of hats with all those roles, and throughout that, worked on quite a few different technologies and different technology vendors. One of those, I was at the district for a total of 15 years.
Bettendorf, Iowa, right?
That was Bettendorf, Iowa, yep.
How many students roughly did that district have at the time?
About 4,600 students.
Okay, so pretty big district then.
Yeah, good sized district. We had 11 buildings total. So yeah, it's a big job, and a lot of and it depends on technology and education. You could be by yourself with that many students, or maybe you have one or two people that help you. So it's a vast array, and all your technologies and your vendors. It's really helpful if they're a VAR, value-added reseller, so that you can rely on them to make your job easier because you have so many hats.
Absolutely. So I know you actually met Anna Hansen, our now sales director, previously covering the state of Iowa as a salesperson for Bytespeed. So why did you decide to start working with Bytespeed?
So at that time, I think the district, we had just went through kind of a process where we used to buy the cheapest computer available, and we in our district had about 4 different vendors of technology, and it was really frustrating to try to get who you were supposed to call for what type of thing it was. And we made a short-term decision to go to Dell and unify with them so that we'd have one throat to choke, I guess is a good way to say it. But then after a few years, Dell just got so big that they, even in themselves, started to kind of divert and change. If you had a desktop problem, you call this number, and a laptop problem, you call this number. And even at 4,600 students, we weren't a very big district to them. And Bytespeed had been trying to get our ear for quite a while, and so we decided to give them a chance. And it's just amazing the difference that it made in our ability to do so much more, because they would take so much off of our plate. They would image for us for free. They would asset tag for us for free. They would, just any number of things that we would come up with that would make our life easier, they would just do. So for us, they were just the epitome of a value-added reseller and allowed us to do more with less.
Awesome. So I know when I first started at Bytespeed, you were the head of infrastructure at Bytespeed for a couple of years. So you went directly from being a technology director at a large school district that was a Bytespeed customer to being the head of infrastructure at Bytespeed. So I know you were involved with selecting vendors, our infrastructure partners for wireless switches and a lot of the other infrastructure products we provide. So why did you choose Ruckus Wireless? Why did Bytespeed decide to work with Ruckus, and which is now CommScope?
Yeah, so a couple of reasons. Everybody has their own little secret sauce, their own little technology, and the Wi-Fi vendors specifically that kind of make their customer base happy with them. And we used a couple of the big names. I've used Cisco. I was a CCNA, former CCAI, so I've kind of drank all the Kool-Aid for quite a while, and I was a big Cisco shop. Then I put in Aruba wireless. I really liked Aruba quite a bit. This was pre-HPE purchase, so they were back when they were their own company. And then I worked with Meraki for a little bit as well. So when I came into Bytespeed and this Ruckus, and I started down that path, I fell in love with a couple of things that they do, specifically the BeamFlex technology that they have. If you don't know about BeamFlex, you should watch a little YouTube video on it. It explains kind of the differences in how BeamFlex works. But one of the really big, powerful things that Ruckus has that no other vendor that I know of has is the ability to standardize on one AP regardless of your controller setup. So even if you decide, I want to try the cloud, but after 2 years I'm done with the cloud, I want to buy an on-site controller, and all my 300 or 400 APs that are out in the field, I just want to switch them over with the flip of a switch and have them talk to my local controller. You can just do that with Ruckus. You don't have to replace all your APs and do a whole rip and replace on your infrastructure to change how your controller sets up. So regardless of how you decide whether you want Unleashed, whether you want a local controller, or you want the cloud, you can use one AP, and it doesn't matter how you roll out your controller. And I believe they're the only company that has that ability, and that makes them really unique for me.
Awesome. And so it's been how many years now since since Bytespeed's been a Ruckus partner?
We're going on about our 7th year being a Ruckus partner. And the other big thing that Ruckus, CommScope Ruckus has on their side is they're very simple Wi-Fi technology, and they're very efficient. So the other thing they're really well known for is being able to do more with less APs. So you can go into an environment where they maybe had an AP in every classroom, and we can rip all those out and replace those with every other classroom or every third classroom and do the exact same job with better coverage, and it's cleaner, right? And so in the Wi-Fi field, you have less noise if you have less APs. So we can do more with less APs, which is even more beneficial to clean up that airspace. And that's the other thing that Ruckus does really well and really efficiently.
Awesome. Well, thank you for kind of sharing your experience with us and talking about why Bytespeed has chosen Ruckus. And that's really all we're going to talk about today. We like to keep these videos short. You always have the chance, as a viewer of these videos, as somebody who either works with Bytespeed now or is an organization that Bytespeed could help, whether it's infrastructure, devices, servers, really anything in the realm that we cover. We'd love for you to reach out to Robert, to Chris Pauly, my engineer, myself, or any of the team members at Bytespeed to provide a little bit more of a technical deep dive overview on the solutions that we can help out with. So in the meantime, everyone stay safe and stay tuned for the next Gav Talks Tech. We'll see you next week.